Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Otakology Podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike, and with me as always is Jin. His mama said he was proud of his freckles graves, and I think I probably just butchered that, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it.
No, the guy said that.
Did he say that? Okay, I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
because she was like, "You freckled face freak" or something. I know I butchered that because she didn't call him freak. I think she said freckled face fuck, and he was like, "Hey, my mom said that my freckles were good."
And today we are talking about the penultimate episode as I hit my microphone. The penultimate episode of season 2 of Peacemaker.
Hell yeah!
Which is called Full Nelson. Whew, this is a long episode.
Yeah, it
Probably,
is.
I think it's the longest episode in the series so far. I think if I remember correctly. A lot of stuff happens in this episode.
A lot of stuff
A
happened in
lot
this
of stuff
episode.
happens in this episode, and I have to say this we've already kind of talked about this in one of the previous episodes of the podcast.
So I have to ask you a quick question, real quick.
Yeah.
Did you watch the after credit thing for episode 7?
Yeah. What was it like?
It
I
was
forget.
the hacker guy or whatever.
I think I maybe.
And they had him like handcuffed to the chair or something so that he had 2 guards on him. And he said, "Hey guys, I just want you to know with my downtime, I'm gonna hack into Pornhub so I can watch it.
Oh,
And I'm just
yes.
gonna completely fill this cable. You guys might want to turn around."
I think I remember that. Yes.
Before I hopped into this episode, I was like, I don't think I saw if there was one. So I went back and I looked and I was like, there is one.
I don't care for that character very much.
I don't either. Do you I think I sent you one of a thing on Instagram, which is like this guy that works in an office building. I think his name is Grant or something.
Uh-huh.
And that guy, he doesn't sound the same of him, but he reminds me of how that guy looks. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
always throws me off seeing him because he'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, if this guy ever says something like that, like, I was going to have to be done
Which
with this.
I don't even remember what the guy's name is. He's like Lex Luthor Lackey or something, but he has an actual name.
Yeah.
But he had, just the look of him just has like skis ball written all over this fucker. I have to
Yes.
say. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
No. And now that I really want to see the play out of what's going to happen with him though, because he was a little bit of a profound member or a profound character in this
Yeah.
episode, I'll say.
Yeah.
Is his alliance in future DCU projects going to be still aligned with Lex, or is it going to be aligned with Argus?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I
Okay.
think. I think Lex is using Argus. Like Lex is manipulating Argus to the fullest potential
Yeah.
at this point. Like full spoilers, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
With the way things end and stuff. Yes, like
Uh,
Lex,
that's what I was going to say. I
yeah.
agree with you on how it ends. Yes.
With Lex is pulling the fucking strings at this point.
Yeah.
An influence Rick Flag 100%. But let's get into this. Let's
Jump
get into
into
this
it.
episode.
All
So we
right.
start
It
1
was a
month
dark and stormy night.
on a nice cold night. I don't remember what city they're in, to be honest. It's like Greenwood or Evergreen or
I
something.
I don't know the town, but I know that they were at
They're in Washington.
the burger place.
Big Belly Burger.
Yeah, Big Belly Burger.
Yeah, it's Chris and Harcourt Ramelia. They're at Big Belly Burger. I don't know if they're on a date or they're just like on like a friends hangout type of thing, but it's
Yeah.
just the two of them. And Chris starts to serenade Harcourt with his nice, lovely vocals that he has, while she is basically drawing with her water or whatever she has. And Chris wonders, like, what is she drawing? And she's like, "It's you, dummy."
Oh, because I thought it was a box and a couple tater tots.
No, it's a box and two dots. It was
I
it
thought
was
they kept saying tater tots.
no, it's a box and two dots.
Okay, I guess they were saying it so fast. I was like, tater tots. Why would they be tater tots?
I love this scene. The scene was so fun because like Chris just embarrasses Harcourt at this point by singing. Everybody is looking at them and she's kind of trying to hide and stuff. It's a very like fun little cute scene of them kind of like kind of ribbing one another, kind of making fun of each other in a sense almost. But
Yeah,
Chris takes it one step further and she says like, you are special. Like you're someone who is special. And they get to
yeah,
leave and this guy, Freckles guy, bumps into Harcourt and she just goes from 1 to 11 like right away. She is on point with him. She's ready to beat the shit out of him at this point.
yeah. It's kind of like when she was drinking in the bar. I think episode 2,
Yeah, yeah.
and she beat the shit out of the guy and like went home and like her knuckles were all like bloody and
Or
everything.
was it episode 1? I can't remember. It was one of those two.
Yeah, it was early on. I just can't
Yeah.
remember when that was, but that's what that kind of reminded me of, which you can kind of tell that I think that's the reason why the shit in episode 1 or 2 happened where she beat the guy up was because Chris didn't let her do it then. So
Yes.
it's like she was still mulling it over in her brain. Um,
And we come to find out Chris stops her from beating up the guy to save the guy, not to save Harcourt.
yeah, which I love that part where he told her that, no, I know you can handle it. I'm just trying to stop you from killing that guy. I'm protecting
Yes.
him.
Yeah. No, it was a fun like little juxtaposition, like role reversal almost. As instead of saving the damsel, he is saving the jerk off who is, an asshole,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And we see them, they're having a really good night, it seems like, and they're
And they
talking
talk
about
about the bands. They
no,
talk
they're
about the
talking. Yeah,
band.
they talk about the bands, and they talk about Vigilante. How Chris should be nicer to Vigilante, even though Harcourt's not nice to Vigilante at all. We find
Yeah.
out that Adrian has some older brother issues. That's why he really looks up to Chris at this point, which that's obvious. And they are just sitting there talking, and Chris notices the boat that we have been getting to all season, and they've talked about several times, but we see what the boat is. It's basically like a cruise, like rock cruise, basically, with special guest Nelson.
Yeah, it's like a
Special
concert on a
guest,
boat.
which I thought it was like it looked like an old steamboat, not like a cruise ship, to be honest.
Yeah, it could have been like an old riverboat or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Um,
That's what I thought
which
it was.
like the weird thing is how this whole scene has almost been led up. Like it almost felt very like relieving that this thing that we've had Chris asking her about, or like, did that mean anything? Like through, I feel like almost the whole fucking season.
Yeah.
Um, to find out, because it almost seemed like it was like they had a night of sex, and did that matter to you or whatever?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then you find out it was them going to see a band, and you're like, hold on a minute. What exactly is going on here?
not just a band, one of Chris's favorite bands, to be exact.
Yes, yes.
And they go and see it, and we cut to the intro, and we end up, I think it's like a month later from
Yes.
from where we left off in the previous episode, I believe.
Which is so weird that it almost seems like we've watched this whole thing and it seems like, yeah, it's taken a month from like day 1 to day 2, or for us to get to where we are now. And then like you're thinking about it and you're like, no, if that happened a month ago, then like the span of things that we've covered has been like 2 or 3 weeks. It's not
Weeks or almost
bigger.
maybe days almost.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the from episode 1 to 7, I would say maybe like in the span of like a week, maybe.
yeah.
Like if even that. But we see Chris. He's in the jail still, and The gang comes to see Chris, but Chris denies seeing them because he's the angel of fucking death, is what he says. His words, not ours.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just being
Every
a wet blanket.
everything I touch.
Dies. And he's like,
Yeah.
we got the death angel here.
What other show says something like that? Because that seems like a reoccurring thing where it's like, like whatever you touch, you break, or something like that line, and it's Chris is really embodying that phrase at this current moment.
That I do not know, to be honest. Like, I have no idea. Because, I mean, we've used that saying, I kind of feel like, our
And
um
a lot of stuff.
and a lot of stuff at points,
Yeah,
like, oh, I fucking break everything I see or whatever. I ruin
yeah,
everything. I touch, stuff like that. Same thing, just different saying.
yeah, yeah,
And so we go from that to Argus. Argus is basically testing things out at this point. They're testing out the door and trying to find what doors lead to where, and they're looking for something. They're not telling us what exactly they're looking for at this point. But they have no communication with anybody who goes through the door. Like, they lose communication at, like, right when they enter the door, which is really weird to
yeah,
see, you know?
yeah. Which do you know? Do you know if I know like we've found what this thing was? Do you know if they're still like checking the rest of the rooms that are in the area though?
That I don't know. They weren't really.
That was kind of left open.
Yeah, that was left very open. It's
I was
kind of like
like,
once they found the specific door that they were looking for, they kind of stopped looking, it seemed like,
yeah, yeah,
at this point, which they start going through the doors, which we could talk about the doors that they go through, I guess, at this moment. So they go through several doors. One
yeah. They do.
leads to like a scary apocalyptic skull spider thingy, which nightmare fuel, just saying.
In a human voice, just screaming like ah,
Yes. At one
like that they
point,
were hurt.
they lead into like a black hole, which I was curious to wonder if that's the same black hole from Superman movie, you know?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was curious, which almost sucks poor Judo Master right into the hole,
Dude,
which
he opened the door and I didn't even realize it was him till like uh they like zoomed in again, like where it was him like pull me
yeah,
and
which
I was like, oh shit.
props for Judo Master for wearing his costume under his suit, his like containment suit.
Yeah.
Does he ever
Man.
fucking change clothes? Or is
Obviously
that
not.
just a running joke we're gonna run with? Because he always wears his suit.
I I think so because I don't think that they want us to know who he really is.
I mean, we've seen him before.
Yeah,
Like,
we
if
have.
you go into the behind the scenes stuff, you've seen him before. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So yeah, they go through that. Then what was it? They go to like a zombie apocalypse colonial time universe where all the
Yeah,
zombies are like from colonial times, or like maybe
right.
like revolutionary times. I would say, I don't know. Which
Yeah,
some
they
of
were just different. Which that was one I was going to ask you if you knew what the universe was because it seemed like I was sitting there like, oh man, maybe this is like a thing too. Because
I would say possibly that
yeah,
it's maybe the deceased universe
okay,
where like they have the big zombie outbreak and stuff, and all the superheroes kind of, not all of them, but some of them become like zombies.
yeah,
But I don't know. That would be a stretch. I feel like
yeah.
for that one,
There's just a lot of fucking doors all over it, and then we
which
have the weird door.
some of the people get bitten by zombies at this point, and they
Yeah,
have to get killed.
yeah, they do.
And then we get to probably the big door, which they do. If I remember correctly, they brought it up in the second episode, I think. where alternate Chris goes to this particular door, and we go through it, and it's like Candyland, basically. There's candy everywhere, big giant peppermints. Augie mentioned that Chris liked to go there to get like the big giant peppermint sticks.
Yeah.
And I don't think Augie was lying when he said he found these stupid little things everywhere at when Chris let them back out was the imps.
Yeah.
And these guys are scary nightmare fuel. You thought the spider skull was crazy scary? The imps I feel like are even scarier. Because there are so many of these little thingies.
Oh my gosh, right? Well, and I wonder if they're kind of pissed at Chris when he was younger because of all that shit.
True.
Uh, you know, because let's just face it, like we have them all run out and in mass. It's almost like fucking Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Couldn't get the word out. Where they pin him down and everything else, and basically these things just jump on top of them and are trying to like hold all these people down. Which it's hardcore. I can't remember what
Titties?
the
Titties is one of them. No, Titties is outside.
no,
Cupid doll.
yeah,
Cupid doll is one of them.
Cupid doll
Cupid doll,
and
Titties. I think
the main
Flurry.
guy Flurry, yeah.
Flurry. Yeah.
And so like Flurry had just gotten done telling this joke about Cupid doll and going to the strip club with him and
And look,
how it was all weird.
and he puked on a stripper's titties.
Yeah. So like we have this whole thing, and basically like all these things run out and knock Flurry and Cupid all over and start really trying to get at both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which they do end up busting Cupid doll's mask and basically like eating his face.
Yes.
And then we have the
Yes.
weird one with Flurry where one of them hits his face mask and just starts humping the shit out of it.
Which makes me think that Augie's saying how one of them jerked off in his cereal was a true story.
Probably, yeah.
Because these little fucking perverts are crazy. Because they start killing these little imps, and they start exploding confetti, and there's like a little chime every time one of them dies. Like, it was a really creative way to die, I feel like.
Yes.
And it
Well, and
was
then they start stomping on part of them, which doesn't make them automatically like blow into sprinkles or
no.
confetti. And it's like all these guts, but you still hear the pew, like the weird little chime.
I think Harcourt ends up like ripping one in half with their bare hands at this point.
Yeah, I think that's the one
Yeah.
that was stuck on his face.
Yeah.
But like it was just really weird because like they did that to him, so I'm kind of like wondering like why did they only really attack Cupid doll and not? I mean, they were on the other two, but I
I
don't
mean,
feel like they were as
they attacked
aggressive.
all of them, but I think maybe Cupid doll, because he was like on the floor, they were able to get to him easier. He wasn't
Yeah,
like able to like fight
yeah.
the imps or whatever.
Which I'm wondering maybe like they were kind before, and that maybe Augie got part of them to go back in there, and they all were
Yeah.
like, oh man, if you see these people, make sure you kill them because they will try and kill us. So that's the best thing I can say out of that.
And we
Is
basically. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I mean that's basically it. Like that's the best thing I can predict on any of that, just because Chris was able to go in there and get the things and no problem. They go in there
Well, they
and like
did
all
get
hell breaks
out.
loose.
They did get out when Chris opened the door.
Yeah, but
Supposedly.
they didn't like kill anybody. You know
No,
what I'm
I don't think
saying?
they killed anybody. Yeah,
So like,
but
what was the event that made them turn into like these cold blooded killers?
we get to the point where the people in Argus start dropping like flies. Basically, they start dropping like flies, and it starts to affect Flurry, um, Bordeaux, and Amelia Harcourt, and then also kind of Economos as well at this point, because
Yeah,
they don't know what they're looking for. They're
and
losing
Judo
their
Master.
and Judo Master. Yeah, sorry, and Judo
Yeah.
Master. They're trying to figure out what exactly. Their lives are being put at in risk here, and we keep seeing flashes of the people behind the computers and stuff, like Rick Flag, weird guy Lex Luthor, you know, a
Yeah.
sidekick, whatever he is, and we see like the disconnect between the people running the show and the people actually participating and going through these doors. Like it's very parallel, you know, and
Yes.
they're
Which
like,
part of these people are the ones that we saw in episode 1, right, where it was the little council. Or no, we saw
um,
them later on. This is the people that were in Superman, though.
yeah, they were in Superman, I believe,
They
and
had the
so
little
like,
council thing that Lex was a part of.
yeah, we can kind of jumble this together a little bit. Like we start seeing them celebrating, like snorting lines of coke at one point. Like it
Yeah.
goes crazy. It goes really crazy. And remind me what happens after this. Is this where we get the Harcourt Economos like scene after this?
Yeah, where they're walking in the little hallway of the house or whatever,
Yeah, I think it's Economos's house.
and they're talking about, how everything is, and hey, how are we going to get a hold of Chris, and
And how have we ever done anything good for basically society
yeah, and
at
like,
this point?
we're doing all this, and like, fuck these people, because basically, like, we keep sending people in, they keep pulling bodies out that we're seeing, and these other people are just like celebrating every door we
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah.
um
And it's this scene is so sad because they're going through looking for something, and then they find what they're looking for, and they find Eagly in a corner, depressed and sad because Peacemaker is gone. Like this scene fucking broke my heart.
Guess I gotta get Eagly some deli meat.
I know, and he's like, "You can't keep feeding him deli meat. That's not good."
Yeah.
But like, I was like, "Oh, poor Eagly." Like, I can't believe they did that. Which when we get to the other scene where we see Adrian's mom knocking on the door, Adrian's like sad because of what happened, and Adebayo comes by, or as she says, Lee, which I can't remember what her full name is. It's like Lee Adebayo something. I don't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but her wife calls her Lee, and Adrian gets all mad. He's like, "We call her Ads or Adebayo." Like, fuck off, mom. Which Adrian's got to be nicer to her mom, his mom. Like, he's a fucking asshole to her.
Do you think she's used to that though? Like, so it doesn't phase her?
I don't know because it looks like it phases her every fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a spoiled fucking asshole. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I love this scene where he's playing. He's playing Princess Peach's Showtime? I think it is. He's like, but it's a lot harder than what you think it is because it's a girl game.
Right.
And she's talking to him. And he's like, look, we need to get Chris a lawyer, but he has a lawyer already, which is a public defender. But that's not going to cut it because he has like a court date in like a couple months, I think it is. And she's trying to convince Adrian to let her take some of the money. Take this blood money that Adrian does nothing with. And she basically manipulates him at this point in a good way, I feel like.
True. True.
Manipulates him and manipulates the situation a big. We're starting to see shades of Waller coming out at this point,
Right.
but for a good
See,
reason.
and the weird thing is just like at the end of this, like, you realize the building that they have, not to give
Yeah,
spoilers yet, it was all bought with that money. And I'm
yeah.
sitting there like, Adrian, we have fallen so far. Not want anybody to touch this money, and then this happens.
Yeah, I mean, he's had to have millions and millions of dollars, I feel like.
Yes.
There were so many pallets of money in that thing, you know?
I also still want to know, does he still have the drugs?
Yeah, what exactly? What did he do? What
Like,
did they do?
or did
Did
they try and like sell that off too for like fast cash?
Oh, probably, I don't know. Or maybe they turned it into the cops for like extra money. I don't know how that
Maybe, I
works.
don't know. Yeah.
You know, like
But we get that. We get where they get Chris out of
Yeah, in
jail,
which he
basically.
goes over to Economist to get Eagly,
I've
and
come to get you.
he is gone. He ends up going
Yeah.
to like a hotel at one at in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah,
I believe
motel.
it is. Yeah,
Motel room 106.
and things keep getting worse at Argus, and this is where we find out where they end up finding the place. They end up finding this place. It's a very nice door, and it's like breathable air, drinkable water. It looks like a paradise, one might say. And they call it salvation, is what they call it. And
Oh, and it's gonna be weird.
we see we see why am I blanking on his name? Rick Flag go into the meeting with Bordeaux and everybody, and basically this is salvation. And what their plan is not to use it for like a sustainable resource or anything like that to get stuff like that, natural resources out of it. They want to use it as a prison,
Yeah, yeah,
specifically a prison for metahumans, and which perks up Bordeaux because we find out that she has been sleeping with Rick Flag.
yeah. And she's considered a metahuman.
And she's considered a metahuman because she is half cyborg, or as a cyborg, I guess.
Yeah,
Not half. There's no such
which
thing as half cyborg.
I mean, I guess there could be, but
Are you a full cyborg or half cyborg?
yeah. Or like, are you the cyborg? Or
Are
are
you
you
the
a
cyborg?
cyborg?
What do you think of waffles?
Yeah, which I mean, like this whole part was bittersweet, I have to say, because like we did have the whole scene in the park where she was going to take shot at Chris and basically kill him, all
Yeah,
because of Rick Flag, and it was like, oh yeah, like you could tell she was crushing hard. Obviously,
yeah,
she started to sleep with him and everything, and just from all like this other stuff, like it was bittersweet because you're like, oh yeah, like she got to do these things that she wanted to do,
mm-hmm.
get in a relationship with Rick Flag, kind of do all this other stuff, hook up with him, whatever, stuff it was, and then just like completely like have to rip herself away from it because she
Yeah.
realized like she thought it was almost like the grass was greener on the other side, and it wasn't. It was all like burnt to ash.
No,
So
you see the walls drop really fast with her.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it crumbles around her, and she's like, "Oh my god!" Like you see it, and she doesn't say it, but you can see it. She's like, "Well, I'm a metahuman. Will I be put in there?" And so she goes and talks to Harcourt, where they go to the same Big Belly Burger that they were at earlier.
yeah.
And she's talking to her, and she's like, "Look, it's actually a prison. They don't want it for resources or anything like that. They want to put metahumans in there." In which we find out, oh yeah, she's a metahuman too, obviously. Which I guess I would never have classified a cyborg as a metahuman.
No, I agree with you. I wouldn't have classified that either because that to me just it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah,
Like
like a
I
metahuman has like some kind of power.
yeah, like I would put this on like kind of like on the level of like Batman
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
Robin or something like that. Like it's somebody, yes, they have these things because you've put electronics on them and whatnot, but I mean they're kind of like a glorified Iron Man, because inside of them, not on the
yeah,
outside, I would say. um so I wouldn't really classify her that way. So it's kind of weird that they kind of pushed us. But I mean, I guess it drew a line for us to understand that. Like,
yeah, yeah.
a metahuman is anybody that,
With extraordinary abilities.
yeah, extraordinary abilities that isn't just like your common martial arts stuff. Because
Yeah,
we don't consider Judo Master a metahuman. We don't consider Chris a metahuman. Vigilante's not a metahuman. So it's kind of, it's a weird situation, I feel like.
yeah, yeah. It's a weird situation, and she goes to talk to Harcourt, and Harcourt's like, "I think you need to go meet somebody at this point, somebody that I know." And we get what I feel like is probably one of the best needle drops in this season, which
Mhm.
is the acoustic Dean Snyder "We're Not Gonna Take It Anymore," which
Yeah.
when they played that, I was like, this is like the rallying anthem of this group, I feel like, because they're not going to take it anymore. They're going to basically not take this shit anymore. And so you see this montage of Adebayo meeting Bordeaux. They start to come together and actually figure stuff out with this. And we get this flash of, because Harcourt finds this ticket to go see Nelson on the boat, and we get the flash to see that they're watching the band play, and they're kind of vibing and dancing and stuff, and like they, you can say it, they a spark happens. I would say
Yeah, yeah.
a spark happens, and don't they make out?
Not
Or is
at
that then the
this one.
next one?
Yeah, not at this one.
Okay, okay. So yeah,
Uh,
so a spark happens. I want to say they
because
make out. Like I
uh,
really do.
maybe they just kissed. Because I feel like right after that is when Hardcore just like left.
Yeah, because she freaks out.
Yeah, yeah,
She freaks out because she has all that baggage and stuff, which is fair. You know, her friend slash friend with benefits just died. Basically, the only friend she knew,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Which
we get.
this is the part where we get Adebayo and her wife, right?
I want to say yes.
Or it was right before this.
No, it's right after this, because I believe right after this is when they go to try to track down Chris at this
Yeah,
point. But
yeah.
yeah, we get the scene with Adebayo and her wife, and they start talking. You know, like they had a dream to open up this pet shop in Gotham to sell like safe foods for them to eat and stuff.
For animals and like a pet shop.
Yeah, for animals in a pet shop. Yeah, and this is a really heartbreaking scene. Like when we get the scene where, like, you know, they're obviously going in two different directions with their lives. You know, Adebayo's going along with the spy stuff, and then she wants to still go along with opening a pet store.
Yeah,
And to see these two people who still love each other, but breaking those ties to let them go is really hard for people to do, I feel like. And is a very like a very human scene in
yeah,
this superhero uh TV show.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was like, ooh,
Well, and
like
then you realize how far we've come to, because she was like, um, I was only supposed to basically like almost like get a summer job or like get a
yeah,
part-time job, and I was only supposed to work for my mom for a little while, and then it just escalated from there
yes, it
to
escalated.
Adebayo being like the super secret agent spy that she is now,
Yeah,
which is what drove the wedge in between her and her wife. But it's also one of those things, like she wouldn't be the person she was today without those things that happened.
yeah, yeah, and it's just a very very touching scene, I feel
Yeah,
um like I was like on the verge of tears, because I was like, I don't want to say like it kind of hit home to me, but it kind of hit home at that point, uh
yeah,
in my personal life, I would say.
yeah, yeah.
But we get that, and then we get them looking for Chris, where they go to Argus, and they get one of the most awkward scenes in the Peacemaker show,
Oh my
where
god,
we
yes.
see Economos trying to distract the people and say weird things and try to tell jokes. It was just a weird scene. I didn't like it. I didn't like this scene like at all.
No, it was hard. It was very hard. And then, of course, he like slinks back over to Boo, Boo
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux. I almost called her
Yeah.
Boudoir, and I was like, that's not
Boudoir.
it.
It swings over to Boudoir.
Boudoir. Yeah, Bordeaux and Hardcore, and he's like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not this good of a person to do
Yeah.
this stuff. Why can't you do it? Um, he keeps telling jokes, which I have to say, like, none of them hit. Like, they're all kind
No,
of
no.
stupid, things like that. At one point, he brings up a lobster, which completely sounds like a fucking Adrian thing at this point. After
Yeah.
Adrian the entire time, quiz me on animals, quiz me on animals. Um, you know, which is even weird with the two ending parts that we have.
Yeah.
So one of them is back at this scene where we have, like, at this point, Economo has told like a few different jokes, or hey, did you know this? And nobody is getting it.
No.
And basically in the credit scene, it's him saying, "Hey, did you guys ever hear the one about the guy that met this girl with like really nice tits, and he got her in the back of his car, and nobody basically like everybody questioned why he would have put her in the back, and a police officer pulls him over and is like, "Hey, I need you to open the back," and there's a bunch of bodies there, which now you know why she was in the back. But the police officer is like, "Why are these back there?" And he's like, "I don't know. I have a permit for this." And this lady that's over by the other guy is just cracking up. I was like,
Yeah.
that was the stupidest joke.
I know. I know. It was weird. It was weird. And so we go from that to the gang gets together and they go to where Chris is. He's getting ready to leave, and fucking Vigilante tackles him and like tasers him basically
Oh
into
my
the
god.
door.
One of my favorite scenes, because everybody comes out of like different cars and they're all heading, leave me alone. And he just gets there, and then out of nowhere, like a fucking linebacker, here comes Vigilante. Boom.
Which is funny, when they filmed that scene, John Cena didn't know how to act like he was getting tased. So they had to YouTube videos of people being tased on the internet so he could try to act like he was actually getting tased, which is funny. It's funny to think about. But yeah. And so we transition to the scene where they're all in this crummy motel room, basically talking to Chris, saying like, you're not the fucking angel of death. You're more than that. What you've done is terrible at points, but in reality, you were listening to other people. You weren't listening to yourself. You listened to your father when your brother died. You listened to Waller when Flag died. You listened to, I guess, his self when he went to the other worlds. I'm not 100% sure on that one. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, I mean, she was basically saying, Waller told you to do this to Flag and all that other stuff. And she was like, and you yourself were running
Yeah.
from stuff to go to the other world, and she was like, but we got you. Like, you didn't have to run anywhere. Like, we could have still handled all of it here. You
Yeah.
didn't have to like run away. And of course, she basically like says like how everybody like loves Chris, like,
Yeah.
why they're the 11th Street kids and why they're basically a family.
I mean, he's
Which,
basically made everybody better.
yeah, and I feel like it's kind of like Wizard of Oz, which is funny since Wicked 2 just recently came out.
Oh, like he gathered his team,
He
basically.
gathered them. Well, it's kind of like he is a part of the team, but it's almost like he is like the lion with the heart. Like he's losing it per se because he doesn't feel like he's got it, but he hasn't realized that he's had it the whole time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because like Adebayo tells him, like, I love you. Like, we have differences, but I love you. And then Adrian's like, you're my best friend. Like, you're always going to be my best friend. I don't want
Yeah.
to do any of this other cool shit like with anybody else. Of course, Harcourt is in love with him or whatever. And then I think the biggest person that it really makes a lot of
Economos
sense with,
Economos put his line on the job. He's a big pussy.
yeah, he's put his life on the line multiple
Yeah.
times. So,
Yeah.
and I think Economo is the one that you can really say sticks out with a lot of the stuff because
I
he
don't know.
has
They
had to
kind
do a
of
lot.
all do,
Yeah.
in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
I feel like we've had all this stuff, and I'm not going to say there's not character growth, but
Yeah.
I feel like out of everything that was said, the thing with Economo was, look, he went out of his comfort zone many times for you, not you're his best friend or any of this
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff. It's,
Well, I mean, I
this is
feel
what he
like
did.
even like with Adebayo, like he pushed her to like go and to do the spy stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, he pushed her to they pushed all of them to be better. I feel like, in a
yeah.
sense. Um, then they all leave, and then we get again for I think like the 20th time. I don't know where Chris comes out as they're all leaving and talks to Harcourt and it's like, did it mean anything to you? And she's like, did what mean anything to me? The boat. Did it mean anything to you? And she's like, of course it did, you dummy. Like, it meant something to me.
Meant
And we get,
everything to me.
yeah, and we get the scene where he starts dancing in his room, and we get the montage of them
We get the
basically.
song get started.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love this montage because it makes me so happy. It
Yeah,
makes me so happy that, he starts dancing and he's like, yes, I did it. Like he found
and
his person.
and that's the actual band that's playing on the boat when they go on
Yeah.
this date. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which is really cool. And of course, like we get the whole thing where they're all moving into this new building,
Well,
complex, and everybody's taking a
first they
death.
take all the money.
That's true too. Yeah,
They take bags of money, which I want to know, did they buy the building or did they rent the building?
I'm sure they bought it.
Most they probably bought it, yeah. And they start moving in, and I love the touch where we see Amelia put the bunny rabbit on the desk, which
Yeah.
symbolizes, like Rick Flag, basically. Because that's the I forget what the character's name is, but like he wore that shirt with the character on it. Just symbolize,
Okay.
yeah, this symbolize like Rick Flag is like still here, basically, in spirit, I want to say.
Oh, for Junior. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, for not senior,
I
junior
was
all
like,
the way.
I don't remember Junior wearing that flag or
No,
wearing that shirt.
no, it was junior, not senior. Senior's a piece of shit now, even
Yeah.
though we liked him in Creature Commandos.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
New,
Fuck him.
new fucking leaf is turned.
Yeah, all the leaves are turned at this moment.
Well, I also got to say, like, since you've brought that up, because I was thinking about it when we had this whole thing with Bordeaux where she was sleeping with him.
Yeah,
It was just really weird how, like, the sexual tension with the princess, and he's like, oh no, this is just a job.
yeah,
And it's almost like, and, uh, like, I love this stuff from James Gunn and everything. But I feel like there was a little disconnect in there because, like, he's like, "Oh no, we can't do that." And in this, because he knew that it was not using her when he slept with the princess, like he wanted to really be with her. And when it was with Bordeaux, it was like, yeah, it doesn't mean a lot to me. Like,
yeah, yeah.
like it's just a subordinate hooking up with a superior kind of situation.
Which, so people have theorized that at this point, which I don't think it is, I don't think this theory is correct.
Yeah.
But people are saying that at this point, Rick Flag is probably Clayface in disguise.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
But I don't see it. I can see Rick Flag being manipulated by Lex Luthor pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna agree with you on that. I don't think he would be Clayface just for the particular reason, like they have to go through security every time they go through the
oh,
thing,
true, true.
and I'm pretty sure they would be able to tell it was Clayface. Like, we went through that whole thing where Chris like walked in and everything, and our Argus is way different than Nazi Argus. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
like Nazi Argus, you just had to scan your card. Okay, let's go. Whatever. Our Argus is like you got to go through like a bunch
A
of stuff.
full
You got to
full body scan, I think it
yeah,
was.
you got to get a rectal exam. Like you got to go through a couple of these different things for them to know that you're not,
Yeah,
that you are who you say you are. Like
yeah,
I feel like if somebody ate too many poppy seed muffins and too much bacon one day, they'd be like, "Yeah, this person's like, somebody else. Throw them in jail."
yeah. I mean,
You know,
it's just a funny theory.
Yeah.
which may or may not be true. But we see them, they're getting their business together, and we get the bit
No,
like they're all
you know
go
who I
ahead.
would love to see as Clayface though? I
Who?
can't remember his name, but the guy that when Economo was trying to like do all the lines to like distract people, the little black guy, the bald black guy that was sitting beside the girl with the
Oh
red hair,
yeah.
and he was like, "Come on, you're not even that funny, man." Like it would be funny, like theory wise, for that guy possibly to be Clayface, just
Hmm.
because like he's there, he's kind of got credentials. We don't really know who he is though,
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I mean, he virtually could almost be any character if you think about it.
True. I mean, he can metamorph into whatever he wants, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, we get this thing where they're all getting together, they're all walking out. Which question? Do
yeah.
you think Bordeaux is now with the Economos? Because like the way they were kind of looking at each other in this episode, and towards the end, like he kind of like puts his hand on her back at one point.
I don't think so. I mean,
Because
that would be cool because I'm just going to tell you, our boy Economo needs a win.
he does need a win, because earlier in the episode he's like, "Man, your boyfriend's a fucking dick," and she's like, "He's not my boyfriend," and you're like, "Well, he's a fucking dick anyways,"
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
And he's like, "Really? He's not your boyfriend?"
yeah. I mean, Economo needs a win.
Which I don't know. I
I
just
I don't know. I would like to say that that's true, but I'm just going to say that at the current moment, they're really good associates
yeah.
because they had to work together to do that whole little thing where he distracted and, work with hardcore and all that other stuff to have the stuff done.
So we get
Um,
all of our members for this, which is Peacemaker, Vigilante, Harcourt, Economos, Bordeaux, Adebayo, and then the new people, which is Judo Master and Flurry.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't expect that, to be honest. I didn't. I
I
did not.
I definitely wasn't expecting Flurry. Judo
But
Master, I could kind of see, so I wasn't shocked. But whenever they did the lineup where Flurry walked out, I was like, "What the fuck is he
I
doing
gotta.
here?"
I gotta say, even though he's kind of annoying sometimes, I kind of like him.
Right. Well, and I like that he kind of has almost found his other half because it's another thing that happens at an in credit thing is him and Adrian doing
Oh, the spider
stuff
facts.
on spiders. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like how everybody else has been with Adrian, they'll get like Adrian asks like two questions or whatever. They're like, "No, fuck you, bro. Like, shut up. Like, you don't know anything." And Flurry just keeps going. Like, oh no, man, this is cool. Yeah, that one's right. Like, you can tell like him and Flurry are going to get along really well, and
Yeah.
I want to see where that goes.
And so after all this happens, we get the big reveal of what they actually started, which I said this in the last episode. But it's Checkmate, which I was not expecting Checkmate to be pulled out from this
Yeah,
at
yeah,
all. Which, if you don't know what Checkmate is basically sort of like, which I don't know if they had Argus in the original DC universe at the time. Checkmate basically helped run the original Suicide Squad, from what I remember hearing about.
uh,
Yeah. But they kind of like monitor and do like spy work, and like stuff with metahumans and stuff,
yeah,
which Peacemaker, Vigilante, and Bordeaux are all members of Checkmate in the comic books.
yeah.
So
Which
it fits.
do you think that now they're going to be like the complete opposite of Argus? Like they're going to
I
work
think
against
so.
Argus a lot?
I think so, and I think they're going to try to make the world better, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
I
and
I
and
wonder because this is one thing that I really think. I wonder if there will be more things like how we kind of have stuff for the X-Men where
mhm.
there's like they're trying to make the world better, but at the same time for mutants like they're trying to like um
Help
what's it
metahumans.
yeah, yeah. Um
Yeah,
like with Senator, is it Senator Kelly is like the main
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like when they go to court and they have those arguments and everything else, like with him, I feel like that's kind of the direction that Checkmate will almost go for with a lot of
Well,
other stuff.
the thing is, like, they do like spy work, so they have different layers of the organization,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
all like chess pieces, basically. And
yeah,
so, like, the pawns are kind of like Vigilante and Chris. So, like, there'll be like the team, like the on site, mission stuff. So, I'm pretty sure they're going to take on like probably different missions or maybe government contracts, almost. Maybe I don't know.
yeah. It'll
It,
be cool to see how they kind of work with the Justice Gang because like if they
yeah,
do work hand in hand at all, Chris is totally going to be like, hey, Guy Gardner, fuck you. Remember that one time when you told me I couldn't be a
yeah,
part of the team,
yeah, yeah.
and
No,
here
I
we are
think
working together?
now that you say the Justice Gang, which I that just slipped my mind. I think they would probably work with the Justice Gang, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Which we get that. Which originally, if you don't know, this was the ending of Peacemaker season 2. So they had another thing that they were gonna messing around with at this point, but they didn't know if they didn't want to do it, and
Yeah.
they said, "Go ahead, do it." So we get this scene where Chris is coming home. I think maybe from the night after or whatever, and he
It's the
gate.
the night of the date.
It's the night of the date.
Yeah, because he's wearing the
Oh
same
yeah,
clothes.
because they go back to watch Foxy Shazam. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And so
dancing, dancing, and everything.
he basically gets grabbed.
Kidnapped.
He gets
Yeah,
kidnapped by Argus, and they bring him to the facility where Argus has the portal. And we come to find out that Chris has become the test subject, the first test subject, and only test subject at this moment for salvation. They end up basically forging his signature and throwing him through the door and closing it. And he basically says, Rick says, "This was for Ricky, you son of a bitch." So he gets his revenge at this point,
yeah,
which nobody knows where he is at this moment. So this is where this season ends, is with Chris in salvation at this point, with possibly a lot of scary monsters. We don't know. We don't know.
yeah. It almost sounds like dinosaurs. So I'm wondering. Well, no, because Kazar is Marvel, right?
I mean, Kazar.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, they
Or
also they
is
they
he
do
DC?
have in
Yeah,
DC, they do have like a dinosaur world that's like kind of under the like the under the in the world or whatever, and they also have, I think
yeah,
it's
like
called
a
Dinosaur Island. I think it is, maybe, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't remember my DC universe off the top of my head,
Damn it.
to be honest.
Well, I know
But
that they have Monster Isle, which is
yeah,
where
Monster Island, yeah.
yeah.
Which this is a big thing. This is a big thing moving forward for one Peacemaker, but for Checkmate, which I hope they get that Checkmate thing off the ground. Which James Gunn said if they do a Checkmate thing, but I don't know. They said they were going to have see these characters again, but this apparently is going to have big ramifications. One for Lanterns, which is coming up, but also the next Superman movie that's coming up.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Because if you don't know, because I didn't know when this happened, I didn't know this story, but this is a pretty deep cut within like the DC comics like canon or whatever.
Yeah.
So this came out in like the mid 2000s, early mid 2000s ish, kind of, a book called Salvation Run. If you
Uh
don't
huh.
know that, that's what Salvation is based on. So what Salvation Run is about is Amanda Waller and I don't know if it's Rick Flag Jr. or Senior. They are using the Suicide Squad to round up all the metahumans, the ones that are like a threat, like Joker. They, for some reason, they put Lex Luthor in there, Two Faces in there. You name it, they're probably in there.
Hmm.
And they throw them in this pocket dimension, basically. And they start having factions, and they start fighting over salvation and trying to get out of salvation. It's a big, huge ordeal. Which once this episode came out, the issues for that shot up for price. They used to be kind of like dollar issues almost, and they shot up because people really wanted them, and I guess to have them or flip them or whatever.
Oh, so
So
it's
that
kind of like Infernape, eh?
maybe like Infernape, who knows? Yeah, but yeah, this is supposed to have big, real like implications within the DC universe, which I am happy for. Like, if I get to see the 11th Street Kids again, I am okay with that. Like, they are
Yeah,
probably one of my favorite parts of the DC universe at this moment.
yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you, Jen, because this episode got a lot of pushback for, I guess,
Wait,
the
wait.
ending, how they
Before you
filmed
ask me
it.
this question,
Yeah.
I only got two things to say real quick on that.
Okay. Okay.
So one, I don't think because of how we have it that they will probably do anything different because the bombs are already set. So I do believe that we will keep who we know currently as the creature commandos, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Do you think though the rest of those people that were in there that weren't like on the creature commando team will actually be put into salvation?
Possibly. Yeah. I would say possibly. I don't see Rick Flag coming back for Creature Commando season 2. I just don't.
I I don't see him as a main character. I see him as a side character using them to do stuff.
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah.
And almost take that Amanda Waller position and be like, "Hey, you guys are going to go here and do this stuff for me."
Paul. Yeah. I feel like
Um
that's the way it's going to be too.
and that's where we'll kind of see where Rick Flag Sr. is a little more like Amanda Waller, where the creature commandos are basically like his suicide squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but of course that will probably be that, and whether we get like a live action version of those characters where it's like, hey, you guys are going to kind of replace like what we were talking about with the Suicide Squad as the Roundup crew.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get something like that where the creature commandos actually will get the live action version of them kind of collecting metahumans and stuff.
I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't get live action Creature Commandos.
I don't
Like, I
see
really
why
don't.
either. I will only say I am very still disappointed, and it hurts my heart extremely every day that I know that we didn't get basically GI Robot in Nazi America. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, fucking heyday, right? Like,
A lot of people were upset about that, I feel like.
yeah, yeah,
But I have to ask you.
okay,
I know you didn't look at a lot of the backlash and stuff for this episode. This episode was a very divided episode. Some people wanted James Gunn's firing for this episode because they said it was terrible. Because they said James Gunn built this up as like a penultimate like big blockbuster episode with a bunch of like awesome cameos, which you could say, yeah, it did have some pretty awesome cameos with Nelson and Foxy Shazam in it. You know,
yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
maybe people overthought it at points, to be
yeah,
honest. I have to say, well, I'll give my thoughts first.
okay,
So I was very hyped up for this episode. You know me, I love Peacemaker. I was so hyped up. I was like, we gotta fucking cover this. We gotta watch this. I stayed up to watch it the day of because I didn't want any spoilers. And I was watching it. And I was watching it, and I was like, we gotta get more, right? Like, so like a part of me had it built up in myself where I thought there was gonna be like this big like superhero fights or whatever, and we
yeah,
didn't get that. So a part of me was kind of let down. But
okay,
as a whole, with this episode and with the entire season, it's not what we expected, and which I
right,
think is the perfect thing for this season as a whole and this episode. This was a big, huge character growth like season. Like
right,
this was all about character, very little about action. Which I think is a good thing. With
right,
like it definitely pulls the rug out from under you and subverts your expectations of what we expect as a superhero show.
right.
Now, was I a little let down? Yeah, but like I had time to mill over this and like think about it. I think it's really good, even with all like the why am I losing my train of thought right now? the montages, the montages and stuff. Like people are like, "Oh, this sucks. It has too many montages." I like the montages. I liked all of the character bits in this. Like, it's a really good fucking ender, and it leaves you wanting more.
Yep.
Like, I would have been happy with them just throwing checkmate out there and leaving, but like we got more. Like, we're
Yep.
gonna see these characters more, even if I hope the buyout never happens. But like, I fucking love this episode.
Yeah.
Like, I do.
So what was your question?
What did you think about it?
Okay. I liked it. I didn't have any qualms or anything. Obviously, like you said, though, I didn't read a lot into a lot of the other stuff to find out like any of that. Besides, like you telling me, oh, it's about checkmate, and you explaining to me a little more of what that was. Uh, you know, but also like more and more of things that we've talked about. I feel like that this episode was never going to be that. Um, because as James Gunn put it in one of the interviews that you and I talked about that he was in, is that while Peacemaker is ending, it's actually supposed to be a big stepping stone for a lot of other projects
Yeah.
in the DCU. So I would argue that basically we got that big in fight scene in episode 7.
Yeah, I would say so.
This episode 8 was more of like the little sweet love letter that James Gunn gave to us, where he's like, "Hey guys, if you come back, I guarantee you there will be more stories that come out of the DC universe that you will absolutely love." And there were so many ties. Like we got the sweet little ending of everything of Hardcore and Chris and how that was going to be, and how now basically they're ripped apart and what will happen from there, and um obviously more in Salvation, like because anybody is going to watch this and be like, yeah, you put Chris in a world that obviously is supposed to kill him, and we know he's going to come out from the other side, but
Hopefully.
what will he look like after that? Like, will
Yeah.
that be a new strain for him and the 11th Street Kids?
Yeah.
Um,
I think if they do a checkmate, it's gonna be like the search for Chris
yeah, yeah.
is what it's gonna be.
Like what else will come out of it really? Um, for all that stuff, but there's enough that's left open that I think we will get a lot of extra little tidbits for things that we'll be
Yeah.
able to figure out what's going on. Because, I mean, like, we still have this whole thing with Argus. Like I said, we had the thing with Creature Commandos that we're not sure of, but we have a pivotal character from that. We have Salvation, we have Checkmate, we have freaking Nazi America with
We
you
still
know
have the thread of
we have
Keith.
we have the threat of everything that's behind those doors still.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know if we're going to have a little imp thing where everybody gets out again and the whole world goes to shit. We have the whole shit with Lex Luthor. I mean, we have plenty and plenty of different things that are just going to basically like landslide on what we are able to have with the DC universe, all because of this episode. So I don't think it was as bad. It was one of those things, though. I will say, well, I'll leave you with this quote. Um, and the quote is, and I can't remember who said it or anything like that, but basically how we all expect the world to end with a big bang when it's only going to end with a whisper. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I felt like this last season really came into itself, is that we did expect a bang, but we were more so getting this whisper of how things will continue.
Sorry, I
So,
was yawning. Well said. Well said.
but I really can't wait for us to be able to cover more DC stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
I know you keep saying like, man, some people just say, aren't you guys supposed to be like an anime podcast? Well, motherfuckers, we've evolved, okay?
We've
Um,
evolved. We're more than just an anime podcast.
like there's certain animes that we've had that we've jumped ship, so there will also be shows that we may start that we will probably also jump ship with too, if it's not agreeing with us, which probably means that it's not going to agree with you. So, take that as you will, that Mike and I that have been reviewing for, God, I feel like almost 10 years on stuff now.
I think it's 5.
No, not the podcast. I mean, like,
Uh,
in general. Like, us doing YouTube and everything else.
well, I was 7. I'm at 7 years.
Oh, then I'm probably like 8. Well, we're there. We're like at 10 years. That's close enough.
Okay.
Like, so uh, we know what we like, we know what we enjoy, and obviously if this is something that kept us saying, man, I don't know why we keep recording stuff when people bitch at us about, you aren't you guys still just an anime podcast? Obviously you got some problems you need to work out because you haven't seen some of the good shit that we've seen.
I know.
So
I know. I feel like we're like an anime superhero movie podcast.
we're
I don't
just
know.
we're kind of like uber pop culture from today's and the past.
The future's past.
Yeah,
Okay. Sounds good.
the past future, whatever.
Yeah, but it's like late. It's like late now. So let's wrap this up.
Yeah. So uh we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Obviously, you know where to find us. I'm gonna go watch the Mighty Nine, or Nin, or however you say it, and you guys can talk to us about all this other stuff later.
Peace out. Stay
Peace
safe.
out.
See you next Tuesday.